It was a place far removed from civilization, where a lonely farmhouse stood surrounded by miles of cornfields. My dad's uncle lived out here, and he had one rule he would always repeat. Don't go into that corn. He called it a line not to cross, a warning that echoed like a ghostly whisper in my dad's mind. One summer day, when my dad was just 8 years old, he was outside with his cousin Jay, bored and restless. Jay's mischievous grin hinted at something brewing in his mind. "Hey, I want to show you something," he said. My dad hesitated, knowing the rule, but curiosity tugged at him. "But your dad said not to go in there," he said nervously. Jay just smirked. "Aw, don't worry, it's just because of snakes. I'll show you how to deal with them." And with that, they took their first step into the forbidden corn. As they ventured deeper, the corn seemed to close in around them, its leaves brushing against their skin like icy fingers. They walked for what felt like forever, each step taking them further from the safety of the farmhouse, deeper into the unknown. My dad's knees grew with every rustle and whisper in the wind. At last, they emerged from the suffocating corn into a small meadow. Ahead, 5 hay bales stood in a neat line, facing a wall of dark, twisted woods. Jay spoke in a hushed tone, telling my dad about the haunted history of those woods, a woman who lived there with her dogs, only to be found later, hanging from a tall tree, skinned alongside her pets. A chill ran down my dad's spine as he looked at the woods, feeling like he was staring into the eyes of something that remembered. Jay ran toward the hay bales and pushed one out of place. He sprinted back to the cornfield, yanking my dad down to hide. "Get down," he whispered urgently. They crouched in silence, the air thick with dread, and then it emerged, a towering figure with bony limbs and claws, stepping from the shadows of the woods. It moved with eerie precision, fixing the hay bale before turning its head, its glowing eyes scanning the meadow like a predator on the hunt. A few days later, Jay had another idea, one that would test their bravery. "Let's push all the hay bales into the woods," he said with a grin. My dad, caught up in the thrill, agreed. They shoved the hay bales, one by one, into the darkness of the forest, and then ran back to the corn to wait for the creature's response. What they heard next made their blood run cold, a bone-chilling shriek that filled the air, like the cries of 100 tortured souls mixed with animal roars. Then, out of the darkness, a massive hay bale flew from the woods, hurtling across the meadow as if thrown by an invisible giant. It crashed into the cornfield with an earth-shaking thud. The boys stared in terror, realizing they had crossed the line. Panic set in. My dad and Jay bolted through the cornfield, running faster than they ever had before. The stalk seemed to claw at them, and every shadow looked like it was coming alive. They didn't stop running until they reached the safety of the farmhouse, their hearts pounding with fear, the echo of that unearthly scream still ringing in their ears. Days later, when my dad returned to the farm, he found the hay bales moved again, scattered deeper into the corn as if the creature was marking its territory. It was a silent reminder that they had pushed too far, that they had crossed a line they were never meant to cross. Even though Jay's family eventually moved away, the memory of that place lingered. My dad never saw the creature again, but he never forgot the warning either. Some things are best left undisturbed, and if you ever find yourself near the edge of something unknown, whether it's a dark forest or a line of hay bales, remember this: never cross into its territory, and it might just leave you alone.